Okay, so now I will talk about one of the important area, what is coding, right? So as I said earlier, the people who has the background of coding, they can definitely understand what exactly you are dealing with. So I will try to make it easy for the people who don't have that background. Okay. So I will take a very simple example first. So let's say you want to calculate the EMI for yourself. So essentially, if you want to calculate an EMI, all you need to know your principal amount, your interest rate, and the years in terms. So these are the three input you would require, right? And then there is a straightforward mathematical calculation, which will tell you how much EMI will be there, and you will also get the projection. Right? Now let's say, okay, so in order to do that, you understand the formula, you understand your variables, then you take a pen and paper and you calculate it, which is fair. Now let's say somebody asks you to do the same thing for 10,000 people. Okay. And humanly this is not possible to do, but it will take a lot of time. But here the machine come into the picture. So machine don't have any brain, but the thing it can do is it can do the repetition work very fast, and it can understand your instructions. So if somehow you can calculate your pen and paper formula into a set of instruction which machine can understand, then if you did it for one, it can easily replicate the same behavior for 10,000 people. And this is what we call as coding. So if you have the ability to provide set of instruction which can repeat the same logic for 10,000 people, that's we call as a coding. So this is the one very simple example, practical example. Now let's try to dive into it, and this is one definition I have come up with. There are other definitions as well, but in order to compile it, this is what I have come with. So coding is one's ability to solve real life problems, okay, with help of computing power, providing set of instructions. Okay, so there are two parts. First of all, you should be able to solve real life problem, which in this case is calculating the EMI for 10,000 people. Second, since humanly you cannot do that, in order it will take a lot of time, you should be able to provide a set of instruction so it can replicate the behavior for 10,000 people. Now why this 10,000 coming into the picture? Because you can say, okay, I can match the machine by my pen and paper. Yes, of course you can do it. But for 10,000 people, maybe you need to bring Sakuntala Devi here. Okay, but everybody cannot do that. So all you need to do is somehow you need to provide a set of instruction, build a computational model. So this is what we call as coding, that defining that computational model, it what we call as a coding. And please take note on this last part, make something useful. So you should be able to build the computational machine such that others can use it. So if you can convert the whole thing into an app, and if your app can take an Excel of 10,000 people having principal amount, terms of years, and the interest rate, and it can calculate the EMI for each one of them. Now that's a useful set of instructions which can other can use it. So they don't know the coding, right? So everybody cannot go and start writing code. Majority of people will just use what the other has written. So as a coder, you should be able to build something which is useful. And please remember, this should be the output of your training. So let's say if you send your child for learning the coding, can he write something useful? This is what exactly the coding is. Now I will also talk about what is not coding, right? So first of all, as I said, I have background and I work with a lot of people. I help a lot of people to become architect, software developer. So I can vary with my experience. I can put what is not coding. And learning the programming language is exactly not the coding, any language. So you can go into the latest programming languages and start learning those. But again, all you are only learning one part of it. That is your ability to provide set of instructions. Okay, so if you learn a programming language, all you can do is providing set of instructions. Now there are two aspects as well. You have to solve the real life problems, and last part is something useful. Okay, so if you learn a programming language, doesn't make you a coder. As simple as it is. Now there is another level here. Now what exactly this tech cat company in this example, they are using this code.org. This code.org is open, uh, it's completely open source and free. So without paying this 100k rupees per month, you can still go ahead and use it. Nobody is stopping you. But again, I can understand that you need some background to teach your kid even that kind of platform. There are a lot of YouTube videos over there. Okay, so if this is, I think, the recommended practice, and this is how you should pursue this thing. If your child has want to learn code, I think that's how you should go about it. And this is actually the trial thing. But essentially, what's happening here, I will try to explain what they are trying to do. Okay. So let's say you are trying to build a Pac-Man. Now, I will define the Pac-Man here. So Pac-Man, you have a Pac-Man who wants to eat all the apple in the world, on in this maze actually. Now you need to understand this maze. Maze has physical boundaries. This physical boundary determines where the Pac-Man can go and where it cannot go. Okay. This is the second aspect. Third aspect, there are zombies. Now these zombies are free to roam around. Their whole objective in their life is to catch the Pac-Man. Now, let's say if we what all they provide you is there is a drag drop kind of thing, and this is what we call as a blocking language, visualization language. Means you just using the visualization you can build the coding. So you just using that drag and drop, using available cursors and building blocks, you can do it. So here what they essentially try to do is you can just go over there and provide this low level of code. Okay, and then it will work on. Okay, so what you will learn here, again, only the one part of it, one bit of the whole thing, which is providing set of instructions. That you will learn, that is sure. But again, in order to realize problems, now let's go back to this thing and try to see what are the real problems here. So number one problem is, first of all, as a Pac-Man, you should be able to roam only within the physical boundaries of this maze. That's a problem. You need to know the X, Y coordinate, and you should be able to map it. That's the one thing. So navigation is a hard problem here. Second is, same navigation need to be done by the zombies, and they need to catch it. So that's another problem. Third hard problem is they need to work like a team. There are 4 zombies. They all cannot go on the same direction. They will never able to catch the Pac-Man, right? So one zombie need to go from this side, one zombie need to go from this side. This is the AI come into the picture. This is not machine learning or anything. It's a straightforward intelligent system which you can easily build with your programming language. But you need to solve it. As I said, this real problem need to be solved. So there are a couple of hard problems over here, and that need to be solved. Now what will happen, let's say somebody comes up and it will construct the whole solution for you, all the navigation, all this AI system, all these physical boundary constraints, right? And then it will ask you to, okay, the building block has been already set up. All you need to do is go into this piece of codes and provide if else, and it will solve your problem. But it will not, because you are only writing the code. you're not solving the problem. And again, this is the another level how you will make it useful. So this is not coding. I will definitely not consider this as a coding, as a hobby. Yes, I can consider this as a hobby, but as a coding, I will definitely not. And if you are not agree, please let me know. But this is, I believe. Now coming into now, I will try to help you out. Okay. So I have provided some initial things why you should not use Whithat Junior. Okay. And one of the primary thing I think that is the most important one is the child's age. Okay, so now I will take both the aspects. Now we have two examples. One of the EMI calculator and another is the Pac-Man thing. Now both has a lot of things involved. Right? So as a coder, in both the cases, you should be able to. In the case of EMI, you should know the mathematics. You should know how the EMI works. Do you think one 6 and 7 year child came into this system and will understand EMI thing? I can guarantee you he will ask the question why you are lending money, why you don't pay upfront everything. So this kind of thing they will ask, and they are in majority of cases they typically ask the right questions, and it is wrong from our side to put them on this kind of things, right? So they will not understand the EMI problem at all. Forget about the solutioning part. And again, you need to figure out solution to the real life problem. You need to run it for 10,000 people, okay, and then making something useful. So what will happen? Let's say even if you decided to go ahead with it, okay. So what will happen? Definitely, typically a child's mindset. Let's say if a child is learning batting, right? So batting is something they learn by themselves. They miss the ball. Next time they try to understand the projection of the ball, and they try to do the timing better. And with each occurrence, they will try different thing, and they eventually after some time they will learn, and they will see the benefit of it. Means next time they will. So the rewarding system is going parallel with it, and this is something make them moralize. Means they encouraging, so they get the system of rewarding. Means they can hit 4, then they can hit 6, and this is exactly what happens when you do learning, right? Anything, even as an adult, if you learn a car, right, after some hurdles, definitely with your uh, muscle memory and all, once all those builds, then it become very smooth thing. But the reward is then your transportation, you are not dependent on anyone else. Independently you can drive your car. Same goes with the child's learning. So if a child can learn, the parallel rewarding system has to come up. Okay. So now let's come into this. Now you are putting not only money, you are putting a lot of time of your child to learn this aspect. And where is the reward? Okay. And there is the problem here, right? Now you are saying that you need to pursue this hobby for 7 years, maybe 6 years. Yes. So doing there all the courses and all, and then you will build your first app, and maybe somebody will use it and somebody will not. But my question is, where is the rewarding system? How the child will keep himself motivated? Just because he will tell, okay, right, today I create the real-time application, today I create a game. Every day you will create something, and there is no rewarding system. And understand this, coding is any engineering discipline, right? Not only coding, any engineering discipline is very ungrateful, unforgiving, and pressure situation. Means, as I said, if you need to build something useful, then there is a lot of pressure. Child will not accept those pressure in majority of cases. For some outstanding child, maybe yes, And this is exactly they try to do. They will tell you that your child is extraordinary, but your child is not. And my suggestion is that everybody think their child is extraordinary. And if you think your child is extraordinary, please go ahead in these sites and try to have a feel of it. But in majority of cases, it's not the case. So try, if your child can understand the EMI problem, please go ahead and enroll into this site and let him know the code. I think that's a good time for him to do that. And same goes, if we can automatically figure out how to build this stackman thing, how to identify all these hard problems, then yes. Otherwise, absolutely no. And again, you need to focus on this learning. I'm not any child specialist, but what I think is their learnability is very high. Up to there is a parallel rewarding system is there. They need to see their learning's output is coming. So if they are able, if they started learning dance, they should be able to perform 2 or 3 good length dances on some good numbers. And that's the benchmark. That's all you need to identify with. So what will happen if you put your child unnecessary here? He will somehow try to complete the course, and obviously these Whithat junior guys will also do that. They will try to complete the course. All the money will spend, and your child will be bloated with all the learning providing set of instructions without having this aspect and this aspect there, and that will be discouraging. So it will be one-time hobby, which will not be pursued any further. So this will happen. Okay, so that's, please bear in mind, the child says is not enough. I think he should be able to learn mathematics first, and most important, typing first. So please check if your child can type first at up to a certain degree. My child cannot, so my child is a 7-year-old, he cannot type, so definitely he's not going to do the coding, and his mathematics is not that up to a mark where he can understand the EMI. So he is not going to into the course, and it's very straightforward how to decide. Okay. Now the second aspect is, let's say you are fine with this criteria. Okay, your child is like 14-15 years and he understands mathematics and all those stuff, and he can type well as well. So maybe let's go to the next step, how to check the next part. The next part is code.org is a learning platform. Okay, and it's free. So first of all, it's free, so why you are paying that much money to others? So if your child is 14-15-year-old and he can understand all these aspects, I don't think he need a teacher. All he needs go into YouTube and go into the code.org. There are a lot of samples available there, and he can try it out. Why he need a teacher in order to do that? So in majority of cases, he will not a teacher. Obviously, he will not require one-to-one kind of courses. All he can learn this by himself, and this is pretty guaranteed. So if he is interested, he has the age, he has the background, there shouldn't be any issue. So again, so I'm coming to this. The code.org is not a learning platform. Is a for learning the programming construct is fine. Okay, for that I think code.org is good. But as I said, there are other aspects of the coding involved, and code.org will not teach you that. So in order to learn those properly, the primary thing you need to understand this aspect, computing power. So the computing power is all about computer science. So this computer science fundamental has to be clear up. Code.org will not teach. And every class has computer science as a subject these days, and people are learning it. So I think that should be the thing. Means you need to understand the math. You should be able to understand how the computational machines works, what are their constructs, and then you should use the programming construct to build those computational machines. So you don't need to pay 50K for code.org by the teacher, and they are not coder themselves. Now the third part is, let's say you are fine with it. Okay, and you need somebody to do one-to-one training. So here is third aspect you need to very carefully check whether a teacher are the coder or they have the background of coding itself. The people who are, I have seen their background, and even in this video, when I talk about her, so you can hear it.
What was the primary language you used when coding?
Language I did on Visual Basic, sir. That was long back.
But that's like obsolete, right?
Yeah, that is obsolete.
But can you tell me what are the latest languages where we are doing programming nowadays?
Latest languages? Why do you need that, sir?
Because I think my child will.
Okay, so this is in my trial classes. I ask their teacher, and there is a problem. Okay, so they are not coder. In this case, I think at least I was not convinced that she is a coder, and I asked her to uh, solve a very small problem. Means one of the basic problem in forming is to identify the uh, distinct element in a list. Okay, and this is I offer her to solve. Okay, and uh, she didn't accept it. She said that this is not their part of their protocol. So there the protocol things come up, right? So now what will happen actually? So as I said, the definition of coding, right? So if because and as I said, I also do mentoring to developers. So I can tell this where you need the help from a teacher. So if you are doing a coding, essentially you need someone again who can explain you what the EMI is. You need someone how to convert this EMI into set of instruction. Writing a set of instruction is the easiest part. And what they are trying to do, and again, you need absolutely important help in order to make it useful. And there you need a mentor. This is the easiest part, and in here they are providing the mentor. Okay, and majority of people are not coder. They won't be able to explain you the way I'm explaining, right? So you have to understand that maybe they're better in speaking English than other developers, which is fine, but they are good teachers. So they may have background of teaching and others. And if you go back to their sites and look into the job posting of these teachers, they said no coding required. So you will teach the coding, but no coding is required. Why? Because all they need to teach them this drag and drop and somehow complete the course. So to complete the course is the problem. Okay, provide all the learning instruction in one shot is their target. Okay, so essentially what will happen, they will do 10 or 15 or 20 classes with your kid. As I said earlier, your kid after some time will lose interest. He will just do because you have put your child into this position, right? So he has to complete he is obliged to complete it. So he will complete it. Teacher will understand after some time, and childs are very curious uh, individuals. They will ask a lot of questions, but the moment they will see this well stabilized protocol, they will stop asking questions. They will learn as it is, because remember, once you don't know how to hit a 4 or 6, then this set of instructions are useless. So there is no rewarding. So somehow they will complete the course. Maybe he will build an app using copy paste, and this is the hard. This is a really challenging part. Even I struggle with when I mentor a lot of people, and I always say copy pasting is not the solving problem, and copy pasting you have to do. So this is the something I never encourage people to write their own. So if already available, please copy and do paste if it is available, or reuse it. But again, solving the problem and making it useful is a target which you need to build. Okay, so now moving on to something important, you need to check whether the teacher has a coding background. Okay, teacher has demonstrable things in his profile. Okay, that's an important, means you can simply ask, okay, what was the last app you have built. If you think your child will build an app after the whole course, please ask him what they will teach. Did they have built an app? You can ask them. Okay, the next part is the whole pattern is completely scripted. So they, as I said, they will not target your computer science language, what is memory disk, what is variable, right? So what is variable, if you can ask them what is variable, okay, what is memory, what is disk. These are the fundamental questions which are important to ask and you have to know. So what they have built a scripted material which keeps your child busy for like next 20 classes, and after some time he will definitely stop asking for question because he is no more interested. He will just on tremendous pressure to justify your money invested. And what will happen, you will never know. You get the certificate, you will build an app by copy paste, but nothing will come up because there is no golden standard as an output has been defined. So at least if you are doing online course for, let's say, engineering exam, at least you can see the output, right? Whether he is selected. But here there is no output as such. It's just an hobby which you are pursuing for your kid. He may or may not like it. Fifth part is one-to-one don't work in code mentoring, and from my background I can tell you this. Okay. So coding again is need to be learned by yourself. As I said, there are two examples. You can see a lot of examples in place, but you need to understand these hard problems, computational problem by yourself. Nobody will come to your place and say, okay, this is how to figure out the problems and this is how you can make the app useful. So this is something which could come up as an experience, which will come as your level of enthusiasm. So if you have that, maybe, but for that it's very hard to mentor this kind of thing. So one-to-one typically don't work. Where the one-to-one works, let's say you get stuck on some place, right, and you are not able to move forward. Let's take in this example. So let's say you have already built an AI system where all these zombies can work like a team and try to eat the Pac-Man. But somehow, let's say there is a bug, and once these two zombies cross each other, and if they didn't capture the zombie because both are coming from different directions, so there is a bug, there is some fault over there. So here somebody who has more experience on building things like this can help you. So first of all, if there is a problem at the design level, he can fix at the design at the fundamental level itself. And if there is a problem in set of instructions, he can go and see your set of instructions, and he might be able to help you on debugging. So in two places he can debug, he can help. And this is no predefined one-to-one thing required. So if you target only is to learn the instruction, I don't think you need a mentor.